Good day, good day, good day, chomis and friends. Good day, good day. Um, I'm sitting in the car and I'm waiting for someone. I'm triggered by the level of abuse in church where people are fed snakes. You know, I've just seen in the news recently that women were asked by the pastor to get naked in front of him so that he bothers them. Girls, 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 common sense. Common sense. It doesn't matter what he says you have, but you cannot bath and be naked in front of the man. Please. That is how girls have been raped, have been made pregnant by these men in the name of God, tarnishing the great name of God by these men who are evil and who pretend to be men of God. Coming into that, today I'm telling a story of a woman that bothered me, a story of a woman that destroyed me, a story of a woman that made me to go out there and fight. Unfortunately, I cannot go and fight because it is not my story, it is her story. Her story, you know, this woman has been introduced to me by my loved ones. I'm not gonna be specific, loved ones in what way. So as she was introduced to me, when I saw her, she was mentally challenged. And I asked them, is she sick? What's wrong? Is she disabled? Now someone narrated her story, then I befriended her because I think I felt sorry for her. That is why I befriended her. And I felt guilty that she's not ready to fight back and tell her story. Her story is as follows. As a young woman, she was going into this known church, the Holy Church. There in church, maybe she was 13 years old, 13, 14 years old. Think of your 13-year-old or your 14-year-old. As she was there going in the church, the man who was powerful, who was a pastor, decided to molest her, to sexually abuse her. I'm sharing these stories so that as women, we tell them, as women, we know what to do when they happen to us. Tell someone, write a letter, let your voice be known. We're sick and tired of people who use power to silence women, to abuse and silence people, and then take advantage of the situation that someone might not believe them because they have a sweet tongue, because they have power in their churches, because of positions. And what hurts me the most is that most of the time even women believe men against sexual abuse allegations, rape allegations, which is a sad story. I know there are 1 or 2 women out of 99 women who have really been raped, who have lied about being raped. I'm aware of that. But the majority of the women have been the victims of rape and sexual abuse, and it is not funny. So the story of this woman continues. I decided to listen because I care. I decided to listen because my mother was the victim of abuse and gender-based violence. I decided to listen because I'm the victim of abuse and gender-based violence. So I sort of wanted to help her, but I couldn't help her without her willingness. So as she goes to this church as a child, this older man kept on raping her, abusing her, touching her improperly. By touching her improperly, it means he was touching her genitals. Teach your daughters that their bodies belong to them, that nobody has a right to touch their bodies except for them. This culture of men thinking it's okay to touch the bodies of young girls is not acceptable. Do not touch me because, or my daughter, because My body is not the crime scene. So he kept on molesting her until she got pregnant. So when she got pregnant, she faced the humiliation of being beaten and shouted at by parents who were in church. They did not only shout her, they told her that she doesn't even know the father of her child. The worst part for me is that she knew the father of her child, and the father of her child was the man of God that the parents respected in that church. The father of her child was the man who was preaching every Sunday, asking people to come and accept Jesus. And yet this child was carrying his child. This child never revealed his identity because he threatened her. And he told her that nobody will believe her. And unfortunately, she believed him. And she never told her parents. And I think up until today, nobody knows who the father of her child was. But this thing was eating her up psychologically, emotionally, and in all ways. As a result, slowly but surely, she was losing her mind, like all the victims of gender-based violence do lose their mind. She was losing her mind. She was losing her mind until it looked like she had some form of an intellectual disability, because of those scars, psychological scars, physical scars, and all of that. By the time I met her, she was an adult with a child, and who has never disclosed the story. And all my life, I wished that I convinced her to tell her story. Reason being, stories like this need to be told. Women, believe your children. Women, protect your children. Women, do not take things for granted. Be suspicious, check your child, bath her, check her genital areas. But above all, educate her about her body. Talk about the body parts. It's not ikumeme, it's a vagina. It's not indonga, it's a penis. Children need to know these names, and we also need to teach them to know them even in our languages. It is not rude, because I'm sick and tired of us being afraid to call the things, whereas actions are done. We need to call these things by the name to stop these actions from happening to our children. It is high time that we stand up and we educate them, and we talk about sexual abuse all the time. Do not trust her uncle. Do not trust her father. Do not trust her stepfather. Do not trust anybody in your child. Do not trust your neighbor. I've been listening to the stories of the people who have been molested by the neighbors all of their lives, and they are afraid to disclose. They are protecting their perpetrators. I've been listening to the stories of people who were abused by their uncles and are afraid to tell the story because they are afraid that they will break the family system. And it crushes my heart of how many people who will be destroyed by this disclosure. I've been facing a situation where the father, the stepfather, has been molesting the daughter, and the mother does not pay attention to the child up until the child gets angry to the mother for not paying attention and seeing this. I've been listening to the stories where this little child is molested from the age of 9 up until she gets used to having sex with this older man. Then she falls in love with her. Falling in love with your sexual abuser, because he manipulates your mind, he manipulates your body until you are used to sleeping with her. And then you are jealous when he is with your mother, which is what men do sometimes. They make women fight. Now they turn daughters against their mothers. Oh my God, where is this world going? Even today, you woman, I hope you listen to this and be encouraged to tell your story. I'll always be here to represent you. I'll always be here to tell your story on your behalf so that one day you stand up and tell it as it is. I'm sick and tired of child molesters who are in church. I'm sick and tired of the abusers and male chauvinists that are in church and abusing children. And it is gonna end. And it ends. In fact, it ends here and now. It's a pity I cannot tell her story on her behalf because she's an adult. I cannot protect her anymore except for encouraging her to talk about it. Please, when you listen to this, be motivated. It's not your fault. Remove the gag from your mouth. Take it out of your conscience. You never led him into temptation. You never wanted him. You know, they have a tendency of saying you wanted it, you didn't want it, he's the evil one. A child is never wrong. The older one is the man. These sly men who are liked by everybody, whereas they are monsters who sexually abuse children. I will make him pay. One day, get the courage to talk, woman. Get a courage to open a case and let them do the DNA test. As long as that child is alive, there is a DNA test that will prove that that evil man is a child molester who made you live in agony and in pain all of your life. It breaks my spirit into pieces to know or to imagine what you've been going through all these years, being forced to go to church and face the rapist who rapes you and blames you and threatens you. Who the hell does he think he is? May you find courage one day to tell your story. And I'm standing here to say it's not your fault and it was never your fault. And to every other child out there who will get access to this video and listen, locate me, find me. I'll stand up and fight for you. I carry a message of the restoration of young girls, of the restoration of families, and I will represent you, and I will fight it to the nail, to the end. I just recently fought a man who's a lecturer and who sexually abused her student, who made her feel so small, who made her feel stupid because he wanted to molest her. He was a fat man who's not even attractive, you know, and he takes advantage of a young girl who happens to be slow in his class, and he molested. I was located and the case was given to me. We won. And whenever a young woman wins against that sexual abuser, I become a happy woman. That's the message I carry. I will volunteer for it. Even if I change jobs and do and be a researcher and be something else, I'll always volunteer to fight for your rights, woman. Open your mouth. Tell the story. It was never your fault. He is the abuser, not you. May God bless you. Find me so that I link you with resources. Find me so that I help you heal. I love you so much. Oh, by the way, since I'm called many things, I would like to assure you that my first degree is in social work. So I specialize in social work and psychology. I might have done many things, many other things other than that, but my first degree is in social work. So you can talk to me and I will link. I'm dedicating this video to you, victim of abuse, victim of gender-based violence. Speak up. And you mothers, do not trust anybody with your daughters. You don't want to see that you live with an abuser when he rapes your child. God bless you. Love you. Bye.